Hey everybody, it's Kathy Weiss, Intuitive Energy Healer, here with you today for another episode of Monday Messages and a free live intuitive reading here on Facebook. And I normally start off with a little bit of a spiel, but I am just about to dive right in today. So if you have questions or comments as we get into today's video, please feel free to shout out and throw them down here in the comments. Because here's the thing, like I'm like, blah, we got to get going. I woke up like super, super full of anxiety this morning. And once I checked in and make sure that it wasn't mine, which it wasn't, I just knew that there was like a lot of energy that needed to come through today. And as I was getting ready for today's video, I grabbed this crystal to support today's reading, which is carnelian. And I'm going to mention why this is interesting in 1 second, because then also as I was getting dressed, I had a completely different top on and I looked into my closet and I saw this orange top. Mine, you're what? Oh, your anxiety? I think it's everybody's, Lori. Don't worry about that. But anyway, I saw this orange top and I was like, I need to wear that orange top. And then I realized I was grabbing carnelian, which is orange. And one of the energies of carnelian is creativity. And the color orange is the color of the second chakra. So your first chakra, just so you know, is your basic survival. This is like food, water, clothing, shelter. Boom. Just what you need to actually survive. The second chakra is creativity. Hello, carnelian, and desire, orange shirt. And so this is like, I want this kind of food. I want that house. I want this specific career. I want that person in my life. And so the creativity and the desire is like, once our basic needs are met, we get to create and design the life that we love. And the urgency that I was hearing and feeling as I was hearing the words universal message, is that a lot of people whose names are in my teacup hat to win a free reading today are sort of in this place where their permission to allow the creativity in their life to flow is being a little bit held back. There's a little bit of fear and resistance is what I'm hearing to really allowing yourself, or allowing lots of us, to live a really full and creative life. And creative, I think, is the word that's the hang-up word, because when I think of creative, I think of art. I think of paintings. I think of poetry. I think of sculptures. And really what the word creative is referring to is like by design. So it's like choosing a career that calls to your heart and then taking the action steps that lead you to it. It's about looking at the type of home that you want to live in and taking the action steps to create that home. And so what I'm hearing is like, don't get hung up on the word creative as limiting into this art world. Creative is really about you designing the life that you really desire to live, and that gets called forth from your heart, and your heart whispers. And what I heard was, leave it there, because for each of us, we have different heart whispers, and that's a whole different message about how to live from that place. But what you're being invited to do today, whether you win today's reading or not, is to start looking at building the life that you desire. And that really does require you to sit back and listen and go inside a little bit. So if you've got questions or comments on that, or you're feeling stuck, or you're not sure, or you're like, yeah, but I already have it all, and I still kind of feel like something's missing, that's when you can, comment or ask questions down there for me, and we can get a little bit more clarity. But because we're supposed to be doing a free intuitive reading for someone who entered their name, let's get on to that and just know that there is like so much goodness that wants to come through. And anytime you want more than what are in these little snippet Monday videos, that's when you're going to reach out and we'll get set up something customized for you. And holy moly, I'm just shuffling the names, but I'm not looking. Can you hear the wind chime in the background? It's so gorgeous, and I love it when it rings when we're doing the videos, because it's almost like the universe is like, ding, 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 yes, yes, yes. Okay, so I shuffled up the names, got my eyes closed. I'm still feeling a lot of anxiety and nervous energy, so let's hope that the person who's coming out today is really going to, oh my god, the wind chime, that the person who's coming out today is, I dropped it. That was so random. Not on purpose, you guys. It slipped from my fingers. Let me try again. The person who's coming, wow, the person who's coming out today is really an example for all of us. Okay. Crystal. Hi, Crystal. I don't believe Crystal and I know each other in person, so this is always really fun and interesting. So thank you, Crystal, for shouting out and putting your name into the hat. So a couple of really interesting things came up, Crystal, right away, and that was that I could feel your aura. And that's a sort of a dark mossy green right now, and sort of angry, which is interesting because normally anger is going to feel more in the red category. But what I heard with like that, this is a righteous anger. So it's not sort of like that you're burning with anger all the time as your main energy, which is why I think that it came up as a different color. This is more like this is anger that can be put to good use, so that it heals and transforms. So there's something really going on that's like you have a valid reason to have the emotion of anger, and anger is a divine emotion, so don't hear that as a negative. It's actually a really beautiful positive energy to be carrying with you, because it is going to make a powerful impact in a positive way on other people's lives. But what I heard was don't put yourself on a pedestal. So your anger is righteous, but you don't need to get all like hoity-toity about it, if that makes sense. Who says hoity-toity anymore? Apparently I do. So step down off of the pedestal and remove the veil. So that veil is that like the anger is all about you. It's really that this anger is here to serve other people and to almost like what I'm hearing is like soothe a situation. So you're being invited to take action. And then once that wise action is taken regarding this situation that you have the anger for, then you can move forward and feel renewed in your heart that all is right. So this anger won't stay with you once you take that wise action and you kind of get in there and let it heal and transform the lives around you. So I am going to get some additional guidance for you by pulling a card, and I'm a little bit super fascinated because I have 3 decks in front of me. I have the ones I use most often, the Mother Mary Oracle, and I have the Sacred Rebels, and I also have a tarot deck. And I don't usually use tarot. As a matter of fact, I really don't know a whole heck of a lot about tarot, but it just like it's sort of that whole like universal message thing, like it keeps resonating in my head to use the tarot deck. So talk about fearlessly living a creative life, you guys. I'm a little nervous about using this deck because tarot cards are different from oracle cards in that a tarot deck, the art is different, but the cards and the suits and the meanings are all sort of set. And what people who read tarot cards do is they have all of that information memorized and in their brain. And I don't at all. I can absolutely guarantee you that I have no idea what any of the cards actually mean. But the way that I use cards is that they're an inspirational tool to drive the conversation forward. So I'm going to trust that I don't need to have that information, but that what comes up in my intuition when I pull a card for you is going to be what you need to hear and what all of us need to hear in this universal message today. So Crystal, when I work with someone, after I shuffle the deck, I invite them to either draw from the top or cut the deck in the middle. And I am totally hearing cut the deck because I saw it start to split, and we've got a couple cards coming out there. Okay, and there is your card. And this card is the Eight of Coins. Hey, and if you're someone who's watching live and you know about tarot and you know what the Eight of Coins represents, especially when it's in the upright position, that would be awesome if you would let us know now, or even if you're watching later. But what I'm going to do is just use this as an inspirational tool to pick up a little bit more information for Crystal. And right away, what I zeroed in on was the woman sitting in the middle with the baby in her lap, and she's sort of like holding and caring for the baby while the man is creating the coins around her. And it feels a lot like home to me. Like I'm looking at the card and I'm feeling this like sort of domestic energy of home. And going back to the universal message, okay, here we go. So this is just what happens. I start to roll. So what I'm hearing is that universal message that I dropped at the beginning of the video about creating the home that you want. And that's kind of what's happening in this image, is that this family is creating the home they want. They've got the cat, they've got the baby, and the father or the husband figure, and there's creation of decorating the home and creating that loving energy. And so what I'm hearing is like, well, how do I take righteous anger and use it to create a loving home? And that's exactly how you do it, is you take this righteous anger and it's almost like you're going to put your foot down and go, enough. Our home needs to be like this. Even if right now, Crystal, you live alone, because I don't know you, and so I don't know if you live alone or with family. But even if you live alone, it's sort of like, enough with the piles of laundry everywhere, enough with the dishes all over the place, enough with expired food in the refrigerator. Like, I want a home that feels good, and a home that feels clean, and a home that feels safe. And so we aren't doing anything on the weekends until we get our together. You know what I mean? And it might feel like an overwhelming task at first. So you just set yourself a simple, doable goal. Maybe like this week we're going to clean the refrigerator. This week we have a new rule that if you dirty dishes, you wash them and put them away. They don't get to sit up on the countertop anymore. Or maybe it's when the mail comes in from the mailbox, which, by the way, nowadays is almost all entirely junk mail anyway. All the junk mail immediately goes into the recycling, and then it's just done and cared for. And any bills that come in, they go right into the file. And in that way, you're creating a home that is built from that righteous anger, but out of a place of love. And that is how, then again, this last bit of your message, what that is coming up, is that you'll feel renewed and that peacefulness in your heart. So, hey, Desriel, nice to see you watching. And Cindy Rose, oh, true, mostly junk on the mail. I know, right? And the challenge with that is that a lot of us take that pile of junk and we drop it on the countertop or their table, and it just keeps stacking up, right? And so if we can just take that extra little action step of dealing with it right away, you're starting to create that home that's full of more of the loving energy that I was picking up on in this card, the Eight of Coins. So I'm hearing that today's message is complete. So thank you to everybody who tuned in. And again, if you're wanting more information that's detailed or customized to you, if you're someone who shouted out and I didn't pull your name today and you want to get your messages, message me, comment here. Let's get you taken care of, because I absolutely promise you that if you take the action on the guidance that you receive, that's like when magic happens, and you'll start to feel this sense of affirmation. You'll feel lighter, you'll feel more in tune with your truth and on the path to living and creating your soul-centered life. So have a beautiful rest of your day, whether you're watching this live or later. I love you all so much, and I will see you again next Monday, or maybe sooner if we have a customized session coming up together. All right, you guys, have a great one. I love you. Namaste.